Hey folks, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of From the Canopy Film Show. And I'm joined as always with my co-host Cornelius, aka Eva Corny.
Hey, what's
What's
up?
going on?
Not
Chilling,
much.
chilling. We're here to review films, folks, if it's your first time here. And we got a lot on deck right now, so we got a lot of stuff that's been coming out. Let's get it started. So, what I want to start with, let's talk about The Whistle. This film is, hold up, directed by Corin Hardy. And in this film, terror strikes when a group of misfit high school students discovers an ancient death whistle. This film stars Daphne Keene, Sophie Nalise, Percy Hines White, Alyssa Skovby, Sky Yang, and it's also got Nick Frost. Oh, that's pretty cool. Also got July Swaby, Michelle Fairley as well. So, what you think about this, Cornelius?
I really thought it was a good premise. A deaf like in the beginning of the film, there's like a guy in this high school. I guess he's a basketball player.
Hmm.
But you kind of see where he's getting chased by something, and next thing you know, he dies. But we have Chris shows up in town. She was in a car accident with her dad, and she's kind of grieving over that. And when she goes to her locker, this whistle and little box for the whistle show up in her locker. So first off, this thing kind of finds its victim or victims. And what happened is if you whistle it, you kind of speed up your death. Like
Mm.
you have so many days to live. But if you're gonna have die of old age, it's gonna happen, and a version of your older self is gonna come back and get you. You know, thought this was a good premise. I thought it could have been a better film, but some of the gore and violence in this and some of the kills were amazing. I really enjoyed that. Um, but I just thought it was about like how you kind of watch what's the name of that film when Final Destination in a way.
Hmm.
It kind of
Hmm.
put me in that frame of mind, but they actually summon death, to come and get them. Nick
Mm.
Frost is in there very briefly, but it is Nick Frost, so I kind of enjoyed the little bit that we got of him in it. Daphne King, that's X-23. If people don't know,
Mm.
from
Okay.
I guess MCU. She was in Deadpool, Wolverine. She was in the
Hmm.
Logan film. She's like the main character, Chris, in this. But like I said, that I just thought it was for the gore, it was worth it. Some of the kills, it was worth it. But overall, I didn't really think it was that much of a story. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah, because it's kind of weird because now we're starting to get more of these kind of films that are based on true things that are kind of real. Like this is based on the ancient Aztec death whistle, you know.
Yeah,
So, and I think I can't remember, man. I think I saw a documentary that mentioned this. It's like when you blow it, it kind of almost sounds like a jaguar screaming or something like that. You know, like a growling, like a really crazy sound. And a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? They say they sell these now. So I've seen people make videos of them just blowing it like on unsuspecting people, like at nighttime, and this shook
yeah.
the hell out of them, like the sound that it
Yeah, the
made.
noise it makes in a film, it scares the hell out of you. This
Hmm.
guy also made a film a couple years ago called A Hollow.
Hmm.
Um, and he also made the first Nun film. And
Mm.
I never saw the first Nun film, but The Hollow was a good Netflix. I first saw that on Netflix, but I thought that was a real solid, horror
Hmm.
film.
Okay. So the next one that I got here, I'm going to mention is a film I just watched on Netflix. And I don't know, it's got a little bit of buzz, and it's going to be this film called War Machine. And this film is directed by Patrick Hughes. And in this film, during the final stage of U.S. Army Ranger selection, an elite team's training exercise turns into a fight for survival against an unimaginable threat. This film stars Alan Ritson. You might know him from Reacher. It was also the League. What was that? Gentlemanly Warfare. I can't remember the
League
full
of
name of that.
Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
was. Yeah.
Also got Dennis Quaid in here. We also got Jai Courtney, who kind of did his thing in Dangerous Animals, which came out last year. We
Yeah.
also got Kyan Lunsdale and Esai Morales. And there's a lot of people in here who I haven't really seen before. I guess another one that stands out is number seven, played by Stephen James. And this film kind of put me in the mind of Primitive War a little bit, and the fact that you've got kind of this barely above low budget, but somehow it just had a high entertainment value, man. Like this script is really wonky. The dialogue is a little bit cringe at times, but once the action gets going, you're like, wow. And like I said, they're dropped into a training exercise, and unknowingly, they're kind of I forgot what it's called, orientating to this objective. And meanwhile, there's this alien craft that's landed near this objective. So initially they think this alien craft is the objective because it's so close, and they blow it up, which seems to activate it. And come to find out, man, this thing is like Metal Gear, bro.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is, it's a training exercise, so they don't have any weapons, man. So they're on the run, and this thing is trying to hunt them down. And what's crazy about it, man, what got me is like the production value is really high, man. I'm surprised they squeezed so much out of this budget, similar to Primitive War. Once the action gets going, I was totally hooked, man. I couldn't turn this thing off. And it is kind of tropey, a little bit predictable at times, a little silly. Cause like one of the soldiers gets his leg broken, and they got to drag him around. And I'm just laughing every time they hit every little bump on the way. There's a point where they got to rappel down a mountain. They're taking him with him. I was like, man, I know that hurts, man. There's a point where our guy's still on this stretcher, goes off a waterfall like Predator, and I'm just like, he's not having a good time, man. Like it's just crazy, but the action is really intense, man. It's almost, just imagine a troop of soldiers out there with no weapons trying to take out Metal Gear, man. And this thing is bloody, man. People are losing limbs, is getting blown off, like they're getting obliterated by this thing, man. And the ending is kind of open-ended, so I would definitely be lined up to see another one, man. They make another one of these. So I had a good time with it, man. If you're not a stickler for, you don't need everything to be Oscar contender. This was a good like Saturday afternoon watch for me, man. You know what I'm saying? You just put it on. Don't need a lot of backstories, not a lot of explanation. It just goes, And I had a good time watching this, man. And it's available now on Netflix if you want to watch it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Uh,
I saw that was out, but I haven't got a chance to watch it yet.
mhm.
Yeah, I hadn't got a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, I definitely recommend checking this one out, man. It's just a winner in my book. Let me see what else we got here. So the next one I'm gonna bring up is a film that's still in theaters, The Bride. And this film is directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, and in 1930 Chicago, groundbreaking scientist Dr. Euphoronius brings a murdered young woman back to life to be a companion for Frankenstein's monster. What happens next is beyond what either of them could ever have imagined. And this film stars Jesse Buckley as character called Mary Shelley, who's going to be the bride in this. We've also got Christian Bale, who plays Victor Frankenstein in this, Jake Gyllenhaal, Ronnie Reed, Peter Sarsgaard in this. We also got Julian Ho, Penelope Cruz is in this as well, Annette Bening. It's a crazy cast. John Magaro and Luis Cancelcheli. And what you think about this? Because I haven't seen this one.
This was a mess of a film. I'm gonna just tell you that. Um, I thought, honestly, I thought it was some real good concepts in it. But
Mhm.
like one of the things you have is Frankenstein is around like in the 1920s, and he's looking for companionship because he's lonely.
Is this
And
Chicago?
yeah, in Chicago, it starts off in Chicago. And he goes to Dr. Euphorius, Euphoronius
Hmm.
to kind of help him find somebody for himself. So um Ira, who's playing the bride, um, she is kind of killed by some monsters or whatever, because she's kind of involved in a situation, and they dig her up, and it just goes from there. Um, One of the things they do in this film is you have Mary Shelley somewhat doing a narration, and then she's sharing a brain with Ira, which it
Mm.
kind of bothered me because if Mary Shelley wrote the story, she can't be in the story, which I was kind of
Yeah.
confused. Yeah, that I kind of was trying to wrap that around my head the whole time because if Frankenstein's actually walking around
Or is she
and
supposed to
she
be narrating a story that already happened? Is that the
is
POV they're trying
narrating
to
a
give?
story that's happening in the future, but she's dead.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
It'll give you a headache when you start thinking about it, but overall, it's
Oh, so
like I
she's narrating the story that happens after she gets reanimated.
no, she's Mary Shelley is an non-body. This not I wouldn't say disemboweled. She doesn't have a. It's like you're just talking to her spirit or whatever.
Hmm.
Which, like I said, if she wrote the story about Frankenstein, she can't be in the story about Frankenstein, right?
Yeah,
Because it's a story.
I would assume.
Yeah, it just it was that was kind of confusing in itself, but overall, I just thought that it, like I said, it's kind of a mess of a film. Some of the messages, like feminist messaging, was like real heavy-handed. Most of the time when
Hmm.
you have stuff like this in a story, it's kind of told different or a little bit lighter instead
Hmm.
of like a message getting thrown down your throat. You
Yeah.
know, it's it was just a little too heavy-handed there. And before I saw it, I saw couple people that were complaining about that, and I just was kind of thinking, yeah, I don't know what that guy's coming up with, but seeing it, it was done
Hmm.
exactly what they said how it was, and just a
Sort of
lot of
like
narratives
jammed
and
in
stuff that
there
was
without any real finesse.
yeah.
Hmm.
But overall, a look at this film, it looked good. It was just a mess of a film. It's and overall, I just think is if they want to just sat back and edited some of this,
Hmm.
it might have made a better film of what was going on or made some sense of some things. But and you had a couple little things that didn't go anywhere or stuff that didn't really get resolved in this film, and that bothered me a little bit more than anything.
Hmm.
Um, but when you're introduced to a character, they're there and then they're gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was that was interesting. And then this is being Maggie Gyllenhaal's second film, and they gave her like $90 million to make this film.
Hmm.
Um, that kind of blew my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think her first film was for around 5 million, and then they give her 90 million for this. But
What was the first film? Was that the Lost Daughter?
I think so.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but that was a lower budget film. But on this, I think they might have spent a little too much money.
Hmm.
And I've seen movies that cost less that look like this and were told had better stories to them too. But
Hmm.
this was like I said, a mess of a film.
Yeah, it looked kind of weird. I don't know. And I think it was also probably because you dropped the coming right on the heels of a film that was kind of critically acclaimed about Frankenstein. So I don't know if the timing, might have, I mean, the film is what it is, but as far as interest in it, might have been a little bit crazy to drum up because it's so close. Because this thing out the gate, I saw people, were saying they were interested in the trailer, but it didn't do that great out of at the box office, man. So maybe the timing was wrong, but also
Yeah,
those reviews hit
I,
really
I,
fast.
I
You
think
know?
this was supposed to come out like this back in October, and they kind of held it back because of the Guillermo del
Mm.
Toro's Frankenstein.
Hmm.
But I think in October it probably would have made more money, than it is now.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Because it's kind
Frankenstein
of the
didn't really
season
come
and
out
people.
until I think Frankenstein was closer to Christmas, I think, right? Like when
It
it
was
hit the
around
theater
Thanksgiving,
run.
but if they would have dropped this in October, it probably would have made more money.
Hmm.
Even though it still doesn't happen as film wise. It's what it is. It's a mess of a film. That's the nicest I can say that.
All right. Well, let's get into this next one. So we're going to be talking about The Bluff, and I believe this is an Amazon Prime Video film, and it's directed by Frank E. Flowers. In this film, a Caribbean woman gets her secret past revealed when her husband, hold up, a Caribbean woman gets her secret past revealed when her island is invaded by vicious buccaneers. So I believe our main character is a pirate, and her pirate past comes and catches up to her in this film. And this film stars Priyanka Chopra. We also got Carl Urban, Sophia Oakley Green, Ismael Cruz Cordova, Timoru Morrison. Oh, he's always fun. David Field,
Yeah.
Zach Morris, Pacharo Mazembe, and Gary Beadle. And what you think about this one?
Zach Morris. I just not seeing that guy's name, and I'm thinking of Saved by the
Same
Bell
by the
character. Yeah. I said, you're not talking about Ryan Paul Gosling, are you? He
Nah.
wasn't in that film.
Nah. But what you think of this?
I had very low expectations. Friend of the show, Rocky. Rocky's been hadn't been on the show in a couple of years, but he suggested I watch this film. He told me it was on Amazon Prime. He's a pirate
Hmm.
nut, and I went in. I went in
Hmm.
with like mid to low expectations and loved every moment of this. This
Mm.
film, they don't hold up on any of the violence. It's amazing. How do you pronounce her name? Bianca.
Bianca? Yeah,
Bianca.
Bianca. Hmm.
Her character is a former pirate captain, and she was at one time she was a indentured servant under Captain Connor, who is played by Carl Urban. She stole some of his loot, and he's back for his money, his gold, and a bit of revenge. It starts off by her her husband being kidnapped, and they kind of find the island that they were staying on. You kind of find out that some of her former crew is actually on the island. I don't know the actor's name, but he's a priest on the island. He was like one of her one of her crew members or whatever. But her name is one of the things is Carl Urban is calling her is Bloody Mary in this film. That's I guess her nickname in this, but this movie is amazing. I had a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I had very low expectations, and they did not let up up on any balance in this film. It was full throttle.
No, that's cool, bro. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out, man, because it was just staring at me, and I was like, man, I should click play on this. And plus, like you said, also I was seeing people, reacting positively to it. So probably try to give it a swing this weekend, man. I've been just going through these not old, the new Blu-rays, but a lot of old films, man. A lot of gaps in my filmography I've been trying to catch up with. So see if I can make time for that. The Bluff. It's out there, folks, on Amazon Prime Video if you want to watch it now.
Yes.
So we also got Scream 7. It's another big film that came out. It's directed by Kevin Williamson. And in this film, when a new Ghostface killer emerges in the quiet town where Sydney has built a new life, her darkest fears are realized as her daughter becomes the next target. Determined to protect her family, she must face the horrors of her past to put an end to the bloodshed once and for all. And this film stars Nev Campbell. See, I gotta be careful here because this is one where the casting could get crazy. But let's just say it stars Nev Campbell. She's back on board for this one. And what'd you think about this, man?
Courtney Cox is back in this one. Also, Matthew Lillard is in it. You have Anna Camp in this one. Joel McHale's in it. Um, Mason Gooding and Jasmine Savoy Brown are in it. They were in the last two films in five and six. And
Hmm.
originally, now I don't think Minelle Cameron was going to be in this film, and they end up paying her the money that she
Yeah.
wanted to be in the last two or the last
Hmm.
one, and she ended up being back in the series. I thought it picked up pretty good. Overall, some of the kills were real good. I thought I had a good story all the way up until the end of it, and the reveal of the killer
Hmm.
kind of ruined the whole film for me. Scream might be one of my favorite horror franchises. I'm not saying that all the films are perfect, but I do have some of my favorite films, horror films. Like one, I guess two. I want to say five and six. Four is okay too, but three and this one seven might be my least favorite of all these,
Hmm.
other series. But parts of it were fun. It's nice seeing Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox, back in this franchise. But this franchise might be going on for 30 years, and they've been holding, it's been held together pretty good, I think. And
Yeah, it's
start
about
off
30
with
years, man. I think
uh,
the first one came out when I was in college, so I can't remember. That was like 98, 97, maybe 99. What year was the first Scream? Oh, yeah, 96 actually. That's when
yeah,
the
30
first one
years.
came out. Hmm. Yeah.
But it is worth a watch, I think.
All right. So this brings us to our last one. This film is going to be called Cold Storage. This is a horror sci-fi film, and this one I can't believe I missed it because I remember seeing this trailer a couple times in the theaters at the beginning of the year, and I just must have missed the release, or maybe it got like one weekend it was out, and because I don't think it did well. Wasn't much talk about it, but I saw it was available, so I went ahead and watched it. Actually, a few hours ago. It was
It was
directed
very
by.
it was very limited release because I remember seeing it like it was in one of my theaters here for
Mhm.
like a weekend, and then after that, I never could catch up with it.
Yeah. So
Sorry about disturbing.
it's hold on, I just lost the thing. Yeah, so it's directed by Johnny Campbell, screenplay by David Kopp. In this film, two employees at a self-storage company have the wildest shift of their lives when a parasitic fungus that was sealed by the government escapes. As the temperature rises underground, a highly contagious and rapidly mutating microorganism starts to multiply as it unleashes its brain-controlling, body-bursting terrors on the facility's inhabitants, human and otherwise. So it's pretty much kind of like a contagion, man, spread by this fungus. I guess this kind of idea was made popular recently by the Last of Us series, with the
Hmm.
mushrooms. But this film stars, we got Joe Keery from Stranger Things. We've also got Georgina Campbell from Barbarian. I think she's in Psycho Killer recently. We also got Liam Neeson, Sosie Bacon, Vanessa Redgrave also. And who else? Richard Brake, actually, man. That was kind of fun to see him in this, man. But overall, dude, I had a really good time watching this, man. Like, I was surprised at the fun I was having because, I mean, the trailer really piqued my interest. But, this guy works at a storage facility and somehow is really wild, the story. So basically, the first, I guess, the space station that crash landed to Earth, is playing around with real life events a little bit. Apparently, there was something that hitched a ride back. This fungus. And crazy part to me about this thing is why were they storing the samples of this fungus? You know what I'm saying? Why did they just destroy it when they had the chance? But
Yeah,
anyway, our characters stumble upon it, and it's wild because Liam Neeson is kind of with the group that first discovers it, man. There's a really interesting like opening scene. Kind of reminds me of Screaming a little bit, where you've got someone, kind of a big actor, or talented, and they get taken out, you know what I'm saying, by the killer in a way. So that's his first exposure. He comes up with this plan. Um, Sustains an injury during this too. So this is years ago, and comes up with the plan for it. So one of the alert systems kind of ticks him off like in the middle of the night. Someone gives him a call that, this thing, whatever their system that's hooked up to it, has triggered, and this thing is being compromised. So he mobilizes to go and deal with it. But in the meantime, our two characters that work at the storage facility, it's like a public storage facility that's been built over this storage of this, this parasite. And it kind of goes from there, man. So they start dealing with it. Some people in the film, kind of get contaminated, and then he kind of, enlists them to help him, pull this mission off to, neutralize this threat and destroy it and make sure it doesn't spread out. But it's really cool, man. It has a really upbeat energy. It's horror based, but it wasn't necessarily scary. There is some gory stuff in it, man. Some really crazy effects. It looks good, man. Like when this thing, you know, um attaches to organisms. It looks nasty, bro. But it's also really fun, man. Really funny, the characters' banner and interactions with each other, man. Like, and I kind of wish I did get a chance to see this in the theater, and I don't really know what you're gonna do. Like I feel like it's gonna be hard to sell a film like this to become like a blockbuster film, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just glad they got a chance to make it, you know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people will have a good time watching it. There's parts of The Thing in here, a little bit of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Liam Neeson is actually good in here. It's almost like he's playing a Frank Drebin without all the gags. Like his tone and manager speak, it's like he's talking about serious stuff, but I couldn't really take him seriously. Like there's something weird that's going on. Maybe
When I
the
saw the
comedy
trailer, I could
tone.
just tell he was having fun in this.
Yeah, everyone's having fun in this, man. Like no joke, man. It's one of those films I think that was probably really fun to make, and everyone was having a blast, just kind of doing what they had to do to, And I kind of hope a lot of people, more people, actually see this thing, man. So right now it's available. You can rent it or buy it, So I think I'm gonna try to buy it if they get like a release, or if I gotta get it digitally, I'll get it that way too. But yeah, I hope they get a release on this because I'm really curious about the making of it and the background because it's like a cool story, man. It's not something this. It feels like an X-Files episode in a
Okay.
way, like a story of the week kind of thing, And like it,
It
and it
was
goes on. Mhm.
it kind of gave me evolution type vibes. I don't know if you remember that movie
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah,
I guess it
yeah.
was David Duchovny and
hmm
Orlando Jones in it.
Yeah, it kind of has those kind of vibes, where it's really there's some crazy stuff going on, but it's also really funny in the execution, and yeah, yeah, definitely gave me that vibe, man, as I was watching it. But yeah, yeah, I had a real good time watching that, man. That's one of my favorite recent watches, man, honestly. Yeah, even I'm looking at the Rotten, what they give it? Let me see. Critical 78, popcorn 76. So it's generally well received. It's not gonna break the mold, but it's really fun, campy, goofy, and the effects and work is just really great, man. This film looks good. The cinematography is really good too, man. And that, yeah, cold storage, man. So check it out if you get a chance. And it's about time we can wrap this thing up. We got about 5 minutes left. Anything you want to mention before we get out of here?
No.
Nah. The only thing I can mention, man, these damn DVD sales. I gotta turn this shit off because I'm ODing right
Yeah,
now,
for
bro.
somebody that wasn't really into physical media, you've been buying a hell of a lot of things.
Yeah, the price has been good, man. I'm still kind of pissed off that the average 4K release is dropping at like 35, $40. And I'm like, and that's just a regular disc, not the
Yeah. Yeah.
not a still, not a special edition or nothing. So, and I did see a report recently that the sales overall are down by a small percentage, but interestingly enough, the 4Ks have taken over. Like the growth of 4K market has gone really high recently. Like it's a significant increase, and they're saying the millennials are embracing physical media a lot more now. And I don't know what the meaning of that. I don't know if that means new media or they're going back and buying old stuff. But I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
but
everybody was saying how dead it was and all that. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's totally dead, but I think the market is definitely significantly smaller than it was. Like, say, if you go back to like 2005 or 2006 compared to 2026, it just was, we didn't have these streamers, and
yeah,
there are a
yeah.
lot of people who don't care how they get it, and they
Yeah, and
prefer
that's
digital, but then there are collectors.
yeah, but
So,
that's the only thing about streaming stuff. You really or buying it like a digital copy of something, you don't really own it. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Because you they can lose the license and you don't have what you had.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, man. But we can wrap this up, folks, man. We're gonna be out of here. Make sure you catch us next time. I'll try to get these episodes out faster, bro. I've been slacking. A lot of changes been happening in my personal life, so I gotta,
Get in gear,
you know,
Corey.
deal with that stuff, and then I'm and I'm gonna get it in gear, folks. Well, we out of here, man. Make sure you check us out. We're at Classes of Cinematics on YouTube. We're on Instagram, and that's it. You catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram.
On Cornelius Bros, you can find me on Facebook, Cornelius Bros, on Instagram, Cornelius Bros, and on TikTok at Cornelius 1976, where I just watch videos and stuff.
All right, we out of here, folks. Peace.